My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. You could call it a foregone conclusion, describe it any way you like, but I want to start with a reference that I've made once before to something Robin Uthappa said earlier, and it's very apt. You play Australia, it's a mental battle. You play Pakistan, it's an emotional battle. Emotionally, certainly you have to consider it a victory, but on the cricket field, it's turned into a bit of a no contest, and which is why I'm going to come straight to you, Robin, and Harsha here in the studio. Obviously, you're going to have to celebrate this as a nation. It's an age-old rivalry, but the contest has turned a bit one-sided.
Yeah, it's just gotten boring, if I may say so, after a point, because I don't think there's any rivalry anymore, right? I think there's no match-up there anymore. It's just, 7-0 in World Cups. I'd say, okay, if you were talking about Pakistan of the 90s, it would be a whole different other story, You'd say, okay, there's a certain amount of rivalry. Even Pakistans of the 2000s, till a certain point, you could say, okay, there's a certain amount of rivalry, but now, no, it's just gotten to a place where you can't call this a rivalry anymore, because just skill for skill, man to man, there's no comparison at all, not even close.
It was. I'll just change one. Use the word emotional battle, but there was no battle.
Yeah.
I mean, we all get, because of what happens outside the playing field, we all get very excited about India versus Pakistan, and we try and look for an edge that actually isn't there. So if we were to put all emotion aside and rationally assess the two teams, I don't think there would be any hype about this game at all. But because of what has come in the past, and because there's the other buzz about India versus Pakistan. It's no longer this big game anymore. It's 12-0 in World Cup games, but forget that, we're looking 92. Apart from the Champions Trophy win, the last 6-7 games have all been one-sided. So that Champions Trophy game still reminds me of that guy.
Yeah, but I wouldn't blame them, right?
No.
Because they're holding on to that from 2017. I wouldn't blame them at all.
To be honest.
Because if India had the same record against Pakistan, we'd be holding on to it.
We'd be doing the same thing.
Because essentially the same people, just borders and all of that. But I'm just saying that.
No, I'm glad you said that. We would have done exactly the same thing.
Yeah, we would have reacted the same way, because it's so far and few in between.
I don't want to gloat, but I get the feeling, because we didn't go out there and win it, we just watched someone else win it. I get the feeling that Pakistan have started losing games before they've started. In that, I'm not sure they believe they can beat India anymore. Given what they were talking about, you sometimes go on social media handles, you tend to get feel the mood of what people there are thinking about. I did a little bit of that with friends whose handles I am acquainted with. And there was a sense of hopelessness right from the beginning. The moment Rohit Sharma started batting, you could sense a sense of hopelessness around. So I'm starting to think that Pakistan actually don't believe they can beat India anymore. There are many reasons for it. I think our domestic structure is sounder. I think the Under-19 India A program is outstanding. Yeah. We've got a really good person looking after that. But purely in terms of confidence, I think the economic difference between the two countries also mirrors the performances in many other sectors. Cricket is but one example of many walks of public life. So I just think it's reflecting that difference as well.
And even when you see the difference between Virat Kohli and Mickey Arthur, we spoke about it earlier, it's a team sport. India might have had the brilliance of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli chipping in, but you had the amount of performances you had in there. Even Vijay Shankar's wicket was so crucial, standing in. So Mickey Arthur was looking for a hero.
Yeah, he
was not looking for a team.
Yeah, exactly. So we were just discussing that. We said that everyone outside of probably Kedar Jadhav had a role to play in today's game. Everyone did their bit, but Kedar even came in and did his bit in the end, with whatever little opportunity he had. But I'm saying everybody had a role to play, had value to add. But in the opposition camp, it seemed like they were depending on one or two people to click, and if that didn't happen, then you always felt like, even when that partnership was building, you always felt like they're one wicket away from the match being sealed.
Yes. I don't want to do what people did to India, which is look from the outside and pretend to know it all. But I look at the ability in Pakistan cricket. You look at Babar Azam, he's a serious player. Look at Mohammad Amir, he's a serious player. Mohammad Asif is a serious player. I think all of them in a different setup would have been twice the players. So what Ramesh has been saying on air, what Wasim has been saying on air, what everyone's been saying on air about the domestic structure, I think it's true. But anyway, we've talked enough about Pakistan. Today is the day to celebrate India.
Absolutely. I mean, you can think of those victories that they've had in the past. Fakhar Zaman or Mohammad Amir had to have an outstanding individual performance. None of those came today. Fakhar Zaman briefly batted, and once that partnership was separated, it was the old collapse again that happened. 4 wickets falling in quick time like they did against Australia. 336 for 5 after having lost the toss. Perhaps another talking point in 50 overs, and Pakistan finishing 212 for 6 in 40. Remember, that was the Duckworth-Lewis revised target. So the final victory margin is 89 runs, but in reality it's a lot more than that. Pakistan were never really getting close. But the innings progression, again, we talked about deja vu as they did against Australia. Decent partnership, looked as if they were in it, suddenly 160 for 6. Today, suddenly 166 for 6, 16 for 4 in that period when you look like you've established a platform.
That's ridiculous. I mean, you could say that Mohammad Hafiz, bad luck, he found the fielder. Yeah. Over a period of time, it's not bad luck over a period of time. You might lose 1 or 2 wickets like that. But I thought it all started with that magic.
Man, what?
The ball of the tournament, shall we say, gentlemen?
So far.
So far,
yes.
Yes, 100%. What a ball. It was like unbelievable. Just the speed at which he bowled, the drift he got, and it also seemed, literally to me, it felt like that ball drifted even after it pitched and was going to hit the stumps. It felt like it drifted a little bit more.
You know, have you always noticed this drift? I mean, wrist spinners do get a little bit, especially if they're bowling a little bit from here. But have you noticed two questions? One, have you noticed so much drift? And second, you watched him so closely in his lowest moments recently.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, what I love, that's why I go out on a limb every time I speak about Kuldeep, because he is such a brave guy. Yeah, he's had an off IPL. That happens to anybody. That can happen to anyone. But just the heart that this man possesses is unbelievable. He's so strong mentally, and he knows what he wants to achieve.
So when you're through the down phase, how was he? Was he still going on practicing bowling?
So he was. But at the same time, he was aware that things aren't working for him. But he knew that he wasn't far away. He was very aware of the fact that he wasn't far away. And he knew that he just had to overcome a couple of things, a couple of hurdles that he had to go over, and then he'd be fine. And he genuinely believed that. And he said, I asked him even, and he said, Robin bhai, I just have a couple of things to get over. Once I get over that, I'm fine. I know. And playing there is a whole different feel for me, so I know I'm going to do well there.
The drift, you've always seen that kind of
drift. Always. With him.
Beautiful, the way it just went away. And
that's because of the way, I think that's because of the pace at which he bowls, Harsha. He bowls so slowly through the air, and he mixes the pace up so well. And since he's gone to England, you can see that he's putting a little more body into his bowling, which you didn't see before. And that's what's great to watch about him. And everyone knows that he would come into wickets at some point, and he's persisted. Even today, it's not like he would have felt like, hey, nothing's happening even today. He went 5 or 6 overs without a wicket, and then those couple of breakthroughs came for him.
You can't get a better perspective than someone who's actually watching it from behind the stumps. Perfect place to judge how he's doing, but also to add to everything. Virat Kohli came out publicly and said, questions were being asked. Yes, the rest of the squad Kuldeep's had a bad IPL, and the first question, the answer he said, I've had a great IPL a few years ago, I couldn't make a run in England. It means nothing.
Nothing.
In fact, forget Kuldeep Yadav, watch out batsman.
Yep.
Imagine how he would have felt here.
100%.
Yeah, there's a few pluses for Virat Kohli, the captain, as well. Huh?
Oh yeah, well, that's something I really like to touch upon. I think he's really evolving as a leader. I think he's gone from being a superb captain to he's now, I feel like he's taking over that whole leadership skill and is becoming more of a leader of a group of people.
So I think in the baton that was being handed over quite visibly, Dhoni to Kohli.
Yeah.
And they actually did that like in a good relay. It took a while.
It took a while, yeah. But
do you think the handover is almost complete?
Seems complete right now. He's even in Australia. I saw a little bit of improvement. From Australia to here, I see so much more of a difference in Kohli as a captain, as a personality who's leading the side. You see so much more of a difference. I think that's where you pick up things like he seems almost monk-like, because he's so aware that this is just a part of the process. It's not the end result. Yes, it's an emotional game for us here sitting outside the ropes, but for guys within the ropes, it's just a part of the whole process. Even the way Rohit batted, you could say that right now, outside, leaving MS aside, you can see how Virat and Rohit are playing such beautiful leadership, they possess such beautiful leadership qualities, and they're actually being leaders within that group. And it's fantastic for Indian cricket. It's just fantastic for Indian cricket.
Certainly is. It's a quick look at India's bowling performance overall. And I think that's how you can sum it all up. You might look at Bumrah and say, yes, those figures don't quite reflect it on a day like this. But big point was 2.4 overs, none for 8 for Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Lost that. First ball ever in World Cup cricket, Vijay Shankar, big plus. And then, of course, you have that Kuldeep Yadav.
Even there, when you look at Bhuvi, when he made the choice to leave the field, he was looking at the larger picture.
Yeah.
You know, in a game like this, it's very easy to be carried away by the emotions that you carry in a game like this.
And you almost say, can I have one more ball?
Yeah, let me just check one more ball. But he was wise enough to say, you know what, there's a larger picture in play here. Let me look at that. If I look after myself now, this is just a part of the process. I'll be ready for the next game.
You know, Mohammad Shami came running over to give that message, I think, and he just said, yeah, okay. Now let's look at those bowling figures again, because India had Bumrah, Chahal and Kuldeep really as bowlers. Now look at Chahal, 7 overs, none for 53. Bumrah, 8 overs, none for 52, and it's a resounding win. It's a resounding win because your third bowler, which is Kuldeep Yadav, bowled beautifully. Hardik Pandya, 8 overs, 2 for 44. Vijay Shankar, 2 for 22. Now, you take away this big match and say India is going to bowl with Vijay Shankar, Hardik Pandya, Kuldeep Yadav. What is your thought? Which is why I think this whole entire Indian team as a unit is now becoming so powerful that one goes away, you're not losing sleep over the fact that you played 2 quicks, really, and one was away, and you still won easily.
Yeah. Now, for anyone who had any doubts about, like, including me, who had any doubts about Vijay Shankar playing today ahead of Dinesh Karthik, all questions closed, right? For me, I can put my hands up and say, wrong call, as in I called it wrong, as in he probably had more foresight and thought that, you know, in case someone goes down, I need a spare bowler to back Hardik up even, and he had that today. Kudos to Virat.
I don't think he's ever going to be 7, 8, 10 overs bowler, but those 3-4 overs can make
critical,
can add such a lot.
That wicket, that first ball that he bowled, created momentum for India.
Swung,
swung back in, was a fuller ball. Yeah, it was nice.
Virat the Monk did say, even at the press conference, very calmly, that yes, bowlers need to look after themselves. He said at the toss that yes, he knows everyone in the 15 is capable of being in the 11, but he said the reason we are going for Vijay Shankar, not talking about the fact that he's a better batsman than Dinesh Karthik or the other way around, but just saying he gives those extra few overs.
I just think now, will he continue batting at 4 though? I mean, tomorrow you could have a game where you're 20 for 2. Is he still going to back him? I'm starting to think Virat in this mood might actually back him to go and bat at 4 and say, okay, you're in the side to bat at 4, go and bat.
It could be a good thing as well.
It'd be interesting to see how that happens.
Interesting to see how that turns out, right? I think, I think we as a people supporting our team there would also do them good if we back whatever they're going with, right? I think just the energy, I'm a huge believer of that, just the energy that the team's in right now, that the team possesses right now, seems like they're in a great place. Momentum seems to be with them. They seem like they're calm, they know what they're doing, they're dealing with one game at a time, and I feel like they're just getting better with each game.
You know, I said after the game against Australia that India have delivered a strong message to everybody else at this World Cup. I think it's become even stronger. India had 4 tough games. At that point, I thought 6 points if you can get, maybe you'll drop one somewhere, you're still in with the semi-final is there now. India have not only got 6, they got 7. Look at the margins of victory.
Yeah.
India have won without really being pushed. Southampton, 6 wickets, Rohit Sharma hits that beautiful 100. Virat Kohli's got a 77 and an 82. Rohit Sharma's got 200. What do you do in London? You go, Shikhar Dhawan gets 100. So you're winning by big margins. Different people are standing up in that top 3. You said the top 3 is your engine room. It's got to win you. The top 3 has delivered already, and the top 3 is looking ominous. Now what happens? One of the top 3 slips out, and KL Rahul today, we're all talking about Rohit Sharma's great 100, Kuldeep Yadav's bowling. What a good innings from KL Rahul.
Unbelievable. Today. Like I said earlier, I think priceless innings for India, as in just set that foundation up, which allowed Virat to play the way he played.
I think India is sending a message to England. Excuse me, we are coming. And I think that game on the 30th in Birmingham is actually going to decide whether India can make a really strong pitch to finish number 1.
And that will be a cricketing rivalry, come what may.
Yep, I think that is I think India is one of India's biggest rivals along with Australia. You know.
Well, let's come back to what we're talking about. India-Pakistan. Sarfaraz has also said that they didn't probably bowl in the right areas. But what about the history of this rivalry, the brief history we're talking about between India and Pakistan in World Cups? Now, have a look at this first. This was, of course, the progression that started in 1992. And there's only one, it's a very simple graphic there. 7 times, India. Victory margins, you can see a couple of just that 1-run chase and centurion, otherwise every other time batting first, and of those batting first, every other time the captain winning the toss decided to bat first. That one exception down there at Old Trafford. But there's another one, another set of numbers we want to add to that, and that is this eerie parallel between Pakistan's campaign in 1992 and 2019. Have a look at that, the opposition and the pattern of the games. Lost by 10 wickets, then won, then had a washout, the famous 74 all-out game, then lost to India at the same time they lost to Australia, their 4th game. The 5th game, they lost by 20 runs. And both, the 5th game were both rain-affected.
Yeah.
And then Sarfaraz plays Imran, Amer plays Wasim, and...
Yeah, I think if you're a Pakistani fan, you're not minding this parallel.
Well,
the only difference is that 11 points may not be enough.
Yeah, this parallel draw gives you hope, right? I think as a Pakistan supporter, all the Pakistani people and their fans would be thinking, hey, this gives us a little bit of hope. But honestly, as an observer of the game, just Pakistan and the way they played cricket today, I really think one would imagine or one would think that Sarfaraz as a captain really needs to step up. Yeah. You know, just the energy he carries, the way he speaks to his bowlers. One of the instructions that I brought to your notice was that Akhri ball deela mat dalna. Like that's a very negative way of speaking to your
very interesting point.
Like, you know, to your player. You know, you'd rather say, you know, Akhri ball hai tight dalna, acha khatam karna. Like finish the over well instead of saying don't bowl a bad ball in the last ball.
You know, especially with the opposition knows exactly what you're saying.
Exactly.
Also, which is what leads me to believe. Remember what I said right at the start? Have they lost the game before they enter the field?
Yeah, because just the way he conducts himself, at least for me, from the outside as an observer, I feel that you know he's not leading the team in a sense. You know, he's very frustrated every time something's not happened. You picked up something where, you know, Wahab bowled a ball.
Wahab a pretty decent ball. Virat Kohli just dabbed it down to third man. He started yelling at Wahab.
Yeah,
which he hadn't done anything really wrong. So,
you know, it could
always look at the other camp. We sometimes carry our fears
within ourselves,
ourselves and express them. Yeah. What about the other camp? I think the far greater fears in the other camp. And I'm just looking back at what Virat Kohli said, just another game. Yeah. Maybe he actually believes, you know what, our tougher games were against Australia. And our tougher game is coming up against England. Maybe he didn't look upon this. He said, be professional. Yeah. Look upon another game.
I think Virat as a player would be more keen about winning that England game than he would have been about this game.
Yeah, and he also looked strong personalities in this Indian team. I mean, I don't want to keep pumping on the point about India versus Pakistan. Rohit Sharma, strong personality. Since he's become captain of Mumbai Indians, he's just changed as a person, he's become a strong player. MS Dhoni, strong personality. Virat Kohli, strong personality. Shikhar, in his own way. Jasprit Bumrah, strong personality. Bhuvi. So you have a lot of strong personalities in there.
I'd add Kuldeep to that list. Yeah. Extremely strong.
I'm not sure the same exists in Pakistan, sir. Yeah, bit of a damn squib. Should have ended on the ground, not having to wait an hour for play to start and then have 5 inconsequential overs.
Yeah. But yeah, just to finish off on Virat, and we'll just update you as to what he's been saying. It's just the relaxed nature, not just at the toss, not just at the press conference, but even on the field you could see he wasn't trying to be too intense, which would have maybe rubbed off on his players, some of the newer players who haven't played an India-Pakistan contest, or the crowd. He was smiling at times. Even when Amir came and had a few words with him, he smiled back and said, yeah, same to you, mate. It was just, he was relaxed.
And he's also said, I'm looking at this on the app, he says, we never approach these games from the fans' atmosphere. He said that before the game, saying it again, that we cannot get carried away by what the fans are saying, which is good, because you cannot carry the emotions of the supporters and let that affect your performance, sir.
Yep. Yeah. And one of the people it, of course, rubbed off on with bat in hand was the hitman himself. And with all those runs, it was inevitable he'd be our My 11 Circle MVP, which, of course, means the most number of points he's garnered in the respective My 11 Circle teams. And as a result of that, we do have a winner from our My, or rather beat the expert champion in the My 11. And that's a huge number of points.
I'm sure Virat was captain, was vice captain, and Rohit
was captain in that.
Simple as that. Hashtag Dada Kavada, 615.5. I'm wondering who Dada would have had, but you've done well enough to beat Dada. He's kept his promise. You get 5 times the amount. That's a huge score. Well, remember, that's what you need to keep doing to go on and win these contests. Try and pick the team and pick it sensibly. Just to finish off on this, let's just have one more look at the points table and where things stand. And there you see it. That at the bottom, if you're in green and you're supporting them and trying to think of a miracle, trying to keep those parallels of 92 looking very gloomy indeed.
India play Afghanistan next, right?
India play Afghanistan next.
I think Afghanistan is on a roller coaster. Is on a, forget roller coaster. It comes back up sometimes. Is just on a free fall down. There's lots of issues there, which is sad because I'm a great admirer of Afghanistan cricket. 7 of 4, that becomes 9 of 5. It's pretty safe to say. Australia 8 of 5. New Zealand have beaten the 3 small. New Zealand have got a lot of tough games ahead. So I think India well placed to go top of the table soon. I'll just have one more observation about the game. We've seen 2 Rohit Sharma hundreds, and they've both been played very differently. You know, one was a ground out century and one was a demolished the opposition century. So I hope he's feeling. I'm sure he's feeling great about.
Oh,
it.
I'm sure he is.
Feeling great about life.
Sensational about life right now.
Yeah, he certainly would be. I mean, that's something to celebrate. As I said, the good thing is, along with that, we've got so many other performances. So it's the team that has come up and stood up, because there are times when you can pick on an individual and keep celebrating them.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but absolutely. I think you hit it on the head. This is definitely, as in everyone played their part, but this is definitely a team victory, because every time someone needed to step up, they stepped up, came right up to that plate and delivered for India.
Yes, so that's, as we said it, Harshad picked one word out of what I said at the start of the show: emotional battle. Maybe there wasn't a battle, but it's still the emotions that will run high, with India picking up another 2 points and 7-0 against Pakistan in World Cups. And I think that says it all. End of issue. Well, there's still more cricket to be played for India. India know it. There's a long World Cup ahead. There's more cricket for us to focus on. And the next one coming up is 2 teams who are placed identically in terms of points in this tournament, which makes it for a spicy battle. West Indies against Bangladesh. We're not going to really pick favourites there, but we'll see. It's coming from Taunton. The weather's good, so we know we're going to have cricket there. And that's going to be a tough one to call, isn't it?
Check the weather forecast.
Already checked it. Weather apps have gone through the roof.
I mean, if the weather apps charged 10 paisa per hit, they'd make more money than at any time in their lives. The hits on the weather channels have just gone through the roof. It's a big game that way. In the context, I mean, you look at it from India and say, right, we are in the sort of afterglow of a great win. But West Indies, Bangladesh, one of the team that loses might just start to think, hang on, is the World Cup slipping us by? I won't be surprised if Bangladesh.
I'm backing Bangladesh there.
Yeah.
I'm backing my Bangla brothers there for sure. Yeah. I have a feeling that they'll do really well against, they'll surprise West Indies.
And the reason why Harsha is saying that is because we're talking about that 4th semi-final place. Assuming you're giving India, England and Australia as your 3 favourites to be 1, 2 and 3, then you've got New Zealand, you've got the West Indies and you've got Bangladesh, who are your realistic contenders now. But for that, you need to be winning that game tomorrow.
Yes. Now, the team that wins that game tomorrow, where's Bangladesh? Bangladesh go to 5 from 5 if they win it. West Indies go to 5 from 5 if they win it. They pop above Sri Lanka, just bubbling under the top 4. At the moment, it's looking like those top 4, let's be honest. It's looking like those top 4 at the moment. But I just think bubbling under, the team that wins stays alive in the contest and says, look, if New Zealand slips somewhere, one of the teams slips somewhere, we are there. So it's already looking like the top 4 are separating from the bottom 6, but the team that wins here is just under and saying, you know what, we're there.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look at the 2 sides and just see if we're foreseeing any possible changes. Let's start with the West Indies, and we've seen that they've had glimmers of hope from individual performances, but Kemar Roach really will be that one question mark.
Evan Lewis a bit out of form? He got a duck the other day, didn't he? Evan
Not
Lewis?
duck, I think 1 or 2.
Yeah, the toss-up is Lewis versus Darren Bravo. They've been having a bit of pattern swapping, but the other one is really Kemar Roach.
The plus for them is, I think, that Puran and Hetmeyer are starting to get their act together. They're looking good. Yeah, whether they want to play Kemar Roach.
Especially against Bangladesh, because
they played Shannon Gabriel the other day, though, didn't they?
They played Shannon Gabriel.
Yeah.
And I'd like to understand why Shannon Gabriel even played that game, because Kemar Roach is pulled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps only because of the fact that he had a good series against England at home was the only reason he played that game. But Kemar Roach has pulled 1.5 or 2 overs in the previous game. He should have gotten an outing.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if that track is even gripping a little bit, Bangladesh would enjoy it. All Bangladesh's all-rounders are spin bowling all-rounders, right?
And
Other
one
than,
has to remember,
Saifuddin.
Harsha, that everyone from this Bangladesh team know exactly how and where to get these West Indian batsmen out because of the BPL.
And also they've played West Indies a fair bit in recent times, haven't they?
Yeah, they even
Bangladesh
beat them
man.
in
They beat
Ireland.
them. They won that entire tri-series, Bangladesh, Ireland, and the West Indies. So that would actually stand them in good stead, having played them in similar conditions. Ireland not too far away from where we are. So this one in Taunton. What about the Bangladesh side? Lots of spin bowling, all-round options, of course, from Mehdi Hasan Miraj, Mossadegh Hussain, Shakib Al Hasan. The one person who we keep talking about every time Bangladesh play a game is Rubel Hussain.
Yeah, he's not getting a game, is he? He's just not getting a game because it seems to be settled. Soumya Sarkar is playing well. So Tamim, Soumya Sarkar, there's something. I think Mushfiq got injured in the practice, so I hope he's fit coming back. Otherwise, the batting picks itself. It's only a question of whether they want to go with Saifuddin as the all-round. I think they've got enough batting with Mossadegh at 7 and Mehdi Hasan coming at 8. Mashrafi can just sort of bandage his knees and come out and tonk a few as well. So they could actually look at Rubel for Saifuddin unless they're happy with the extra batting there.
And the good thing is, even with Mushfiqur, if there was an injury, Liton Das is a like-for-like replacement, good informed batsman, and of course keeps
Or
wickets.
just play him the side and ask Mithun keeps wickets as well, if that's an issue.
Mithun is also a keeper, so they've got a wealth of keepers in there. One final issue with Bangladesh, again, like we talked about with a couple of other teams, Sri Lanka being one of them, they haven't played for a while. 8th of June was their last game, so they've had a 9-day gap coming to this game in Taunton.
It was a bad game, that 106 was a bad game.
Yeah, but I don't think they'd be too worried about that. They're a very eager bunch, so I know that they'll be like waiting to play this game. So they'll be happy to get going.
Yeah, I'm putting Bangladesh favourites for that game.
Yeah.
Yep, I think we'll all agree with that.
Unless the universe boss comes and laughs and says, "What were you saying?" In which case, we'll have a lot of fun watching the game.
Oh, it certainly will be.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great contest, come what may, and a great contest means another chance for all of you to get out there and make your My 11 Circle teams. Just a quick reminder how you do that. Lots of you have the app. If you don't, download it. Focus on the game. Today was big. India-Pakistan. We had lots of people playing. Select the match for tomorrow, which is Bangladesh against the West Indies. And yep, the man from just across the border will have his biases towards Bangladesh. So see how you pick the team. Dada Kavada remains the same. 5 times the amount if you can beat the expert. Just one question to be answered. Pakistan had no answers for India, but one question to be answered, and we do have the answer for you. Joy provided the answer, so we will gracefully pass it on to all of you. A reminder of today's Joy Factor question, and here it is.
Joy Bhattacharya, aka Crick Rohit, has asked the question.
So 10 Man of the Match award winners in ODI cricket. Who has got the maximum percentage in one single ground? 19.3%, effectively 20. That's almost 1 in 5, and it's also won 19.3% of all Man of the Match awards on that ground.
It seems a very Murali kind of thing.
We would have thought Murli at the SSC.
And I was there, I watched all those games. Toronto Cricket Skating and Curling Club. Where's the cricket gone? It's the Toronto Cricket Skating and Curling Club.
Yes.
5 for 16 against Pakistan, which gives Saurav Ganguly a better bowling average than against Pakistan. Then you want to go up and tell it in the Hindi box? Ashish Nehra and Zahir Khan. Yeah. I mean, he's not going to live that down.
Yeah, I remember running into you in downtown Toronto during that time.
Yeah, Cricket Skating and Curling Club. Well done.
It was. So, Saurav Ganguly, it's not only on My 11 Circle that Dada Kavada comes out. He finds his way into Joy's questions as well. So, who's our winner?
Nobody.
Garib Joker.
Garib Joker? Kya baat hai? At the rate Badumba.
And Mr. Bachchan's favorite word? Badumba.
Badumba.
Oh, he
Garib
goes on
Joker.
Twitter and says Badumba. That's when I discovered that there is an expression like Badumba.
I think that's one way to really describe the way India blew over Pakistan today. Badumba. Fair way to say that. It
sounds like that. Is that what it means?
Probably does. Just
I don't know what it means.
It's a sound effect word.
Yeah, sound effect word where you blow away the opposition in a fun fell swoop. So
Again,
for the 7th time, 7 baar boliye Badumba. That's one way of finishing
that's
off
not
here.
how you say it. Say, 7 baar boliye. Badumba.
Oh,
All right.
not bad, Harsha.
Come on, are you going to give us another one, Robin, to finish?
No, I can't match that.
compete
I can't
with that.
follow that.
Right, so that finishes things off. Thank you once again, Robin. Thank you, Harsha.
Just a final clarification. It is in India time later today.
Yes, India time later today, but that's all thanks to the rain in Manchester. It didn't play spoil sport. It still meant that we had almost a full game, 40 overs, an impossible run chase. India winning by the Duckworth-Lewis method by about 1 million runs there. So we'll be back 2:30 p.m. later today with Bangladesh taking on the West Indies from Taunton. That remains our promise on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. Until then, we continue the emotional celebration of number 7 for India.